fine. So, welcome to the Milk Room Podcast. Introduce yourself to our audience. Oh, snap. This is Armett Johnson. I am the founder of GasPak Media.
So what is GasPak?
Well, it is it's changed a little bit. I mean, I think it started off as like a social media company. Now I would say it's more of a like talent media representation management company.
Okay, so tell me where were you? Because I know what it was before, so kind of explain to the audience what it was before when you first started.
So when we first started it, we were just doing content for businesses. We had some talent, but we were doing more content for businesses. Now it's more we're doing a lot of management of content and deals with personalities.
Okay, and are you still aiming towards the political stuff, or are you aiming towards a different market?
Oh, well, it's mostly conservative media stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so how'd you start? Like, how'd you found it? Like your first.
Oh yeah, okay. So we started working on this political campaign, and it blew up. He was here actually. You know,
Okay, yeah.
yeah. He was here with no names. He's freaking crazy.
Yeah, no word.
No names, but he was here. It was a good event, and he blew up, man. We helped him out. We did a lot of marketing stuff and all that stuff, but he ended up having allegations and everything. So
what kind of tactics do you use? Like, would you kind of?
we just, man, it was like we're like agents, dude. Like we're like agents for. We're calling up everyone to get them on these shows. Like he got on Joe Rogan.
Whoa.
Yeah, got on Joe Rogan, Fox and Friends. Big thing. That's how I got a lot of the network. Was calling all these people.
Not a lot of people call these days too. I feel like people underestimate the power of the phone.
So I have a thing on GasPak,
Okay.
and I tell this to the team all the time. Stop hiding behind the email and the text and pick up the phone and freaking call somebody and get something done. I tell them this every day. I can't stand it. People like, when someone gives me a number, I'm like, bam, I'm calling them like, let's do something. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. Okay, yeah. That's what I want to do. This is what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Okay, deal. Okay, for sure.
Dang. Train your whole team to do that.
Yeah, 100%. I hate it. I hate like it's just the time. I think that's what our generation is, man. They just hide behind text. It's very nuanced. Like if you're going and you're sending emails, people don't really know what you mean. It just happens so much.
Yeah, like a lot of scam emails now too. So
Yeah, it's not even a scam. It's just like it goes back and forth. You wait, you text someone or you email someone, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's like they respond, and then 40 minutes later, they respond back, you respond back. It drives the process, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and it freaking calls.
Elon Musk says that a lot too. A lot of emails, a lot of conversations are inefficient. Like you just pick up the phone and call because you can handle everything you need to in like a 30-minute meeting.
100%. I just don't. I think it's our generation, like 20s people that just like scared to talk to people.
Yeah, and I think
thoroughly frightened.
I couldn't even imagine like the people like after this pandemic, like the younger generation, like they're used to being behind four walls.
Oh, dude. Oh my God, I can't believe. And you know what's even worse about the whole thing is like you have to text someone to schedule a call. I never do that. I never do that. Like people give me their numbers and all that stuff. I don't set up times. I just call.
That's perfect. That's the way. No, that's the way to do it. I feel like that builds like a more personal relationship with anybody. If you just pick up the phone, call, talk to them about something, and then if you really need to get something down to the ground done, you meet them in person.
I tell people this all the time. If you don't have a client or a customer or anything, if you're trying to do bigger deals about that, if you don't have them on text and you're not meeting up them on, like you're not talking on the phone and you're not meeting up with people in person, whether it's via golf course, via restaurant, beach home, private jet, you're not even near close to closing.
Right.
Deals.
Yeah.
Because good deals don't happen on emails. Big deals don't happen on emails. They don't happen in like the conference room in the office. They happen at golf courses, people's homes,
restaurants.
Yeah, that's what you do because people are a little guard, but that's like the entry level stuff like that people don't know. That's like the secret.
Dang, that's not a game. No, I'm totally a big proponent of that. Actually, I was working on a electric vehicle charging station installation. I'll do that on the road. Yeah,
I think I heard about something. You guys doing something.
Yeah, no, you got Chris. Antonio and I work on it. It's called Pod. We help with electric vehicle charging installation, infrastructure setup, and distribution. It's just it's a big boom. Like, for example, the city of Los Angeles, if you're building a new building, 30% of your parking rent has to be EV. It's a requirement, or you want to get approved for city approval. So if you're building an apartment with 1,000 complex, 1,000 parking spots, 300 chargers, do the math.
Wow.
So
That's interesting.
yeah, it's super interesting. But one of the distributors, we were getting so many leads, they took us out to dinner. And then once we went out with that dinner, like, everything changed. Everything changed. Like, we were so not skeptical of anymore of, like, her trying to, like, one-up us on something. It was so much better. And then she started feeding us more deals, too, because the distributors get deals as well for installation. So it's like a double whammy when we provide distribution and installation. We can go with either or. Yeah. So, but anyway, the point of it was that, like, that dinner changed our whole relationship, as opposed to the emails that were going on.
I try to tell people this: get off the email, get off the text, call them, and meet with them in person. Your job with this freaking phone is to literally set up a meeting in person. That's all this is. Not to have a relationship. It's not. It's to set up a meeting in person.
Yeah.
You shouldn't stay on longer. You should stay on the phone longer than 5 minutes.
No. It's so here's people. I'm like, you've been on it for like 8 hours a day.
What? Like, I had this one girl, man, and we used to work with her. I was on the campaign thing, and like, we never know what she would do. But man, was she on the phone all day? I don't know what the hell she was talking about. I think people do that to make themselves feel like they're busy.
Yeah, no, but I think with, like, in any industry, whether I remember I used to DJ back in the day, like, I was on my phone texting and calling like 24/7. I invite people and that. Yeah. And that, I think that's what separates a great business person from like a mediocre business person, is someone who spends time making the calls that people are afraid of.
Yes. I mean, I have a crazy story one time. This is like, I had no balls. So one time when I was late at the office, it was like 6 o'clock, because, a business partner, or the team that left. And I was just like, I have this plug-in, and it basically gives people their number. It gives people your number. Like, you can get people's numbers from it. So I was just like, all right. So I called up I got the CEO of Taco Bell's number. Well, yeah. And it was like 6:15. And I freaking called him.
Yeah.
PM. And I called this guy, and he freaking answers.
Damn.
And I was so frozen on the phone. I called him, and I was like, and he answered, and I was just like, yeah. Because I had nothing to sell him. I was just calling him just to mess around. But yeah, that's the power of, going direct to the phone and calling people up and setting stuff up.
Dang, that's crazy. So transitioning over to, GasPak Media, and you had your guys' pass, you guys through social media, and most of the success was due to you guys picking up the phone and calling. Mm-hmm. Now I've seen in the stage of team building. How many people are on your team?
At GasPak, we have 8 people. So that comes from account manager, me and Sal, contractors,
Okay, and where are you guys looking to go with the talent agency? We're kind of,
man, dude. So we have Trish Reagan. She's a client of ours. She was like Primetime Fox. Oh yeah, super big acre. Like, I mean, has everybody on call, whether it's any politician or whatever. She had me up there, and she's like, yeah, I'm gonna call up the CEO of AT&T. Like, that's my friend. Yeah. So yeah, she's awesome. We have other big time like journalists, like Cabbatho, who's like probably the largest independent journalist in California.
Okay, so you guys work with so Talent Media.
Yeah, we're now working with him like afterwards.
Yeah. So it's like, no, but that's pretty cool, because Tucker Carlson just signed a deal with Twitter.
Yep.
And he took his whole audience, and now I don't know what their deal is with Twitter, but it has to be a pretty big deal, because I know he got a lot of offers.
Yeah.
And so now you're getting all these media people. Yeah, they need talent agencies like you. That's a really cool niche.
Yeah, really cool. I think the media business is changing a lot. I mean, it's like a dark abyss. Like, you got Tucker Carlson, right? And he's on Twitter now doing freaking 15 million views on Twitter. Crazy stuff. Like, crazy. He's making a ton of money off that.
Imagine when he starts putting in the ads in his TV show.
Oh, yeah, dude, he's killing it. And like, there is this thing that's coming up with people, and you saw all the ESPN layoffs too.
I know, I didn't see that one.
Oh, so like it's CNN, ESPN, bunch of layoffs. Steve Van Gundy got fired. Oh, yeah, he got fired. So what's stopping Steve Van Gundy from starting? He's running at people watch because of right. So he's gonna start his own show, and a lot of these legacy media people are going down, dude.
And I could see what that was. I was talking to someone, Twitter just launched a new subscription model with, I was seeing 600 posts. I said, wow, it's a really great model. It's very innovative. First of all, no one's done this. It reminds me of the Wall Street Journal. That's going to trim the fat, the people that really aren't the prime users, which are, I feel, highly educated people that like news.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to get this platform that has these people like Jeff Van Gundy, Dale Carlson that are going to be like this channel now.
Oh, dude, yeah, I think, yeah, we're interested. We're entering like the craziest time of media and personalities and them owning our businesses. Like one of our clients, like she doesn't want to go back to network. Oh, yeah, she doesn't really want to go back that much to network because she's just like, why would I do that when I could just have my time here? I have the studio in my house. I have the thing. I'm making a bunch of money, so why would I ever want to go back?
And equipment for the quality is so least expensive now, so we don't have to.
I mean, you can. I mean, dude. I mean, you can have an iPhone and record. Yeah, record great videos. Yeah, like when you have, and even when you're like talking to them, you have deep pockets like that. You can set up things. You have the writers, and you have a bunch of things. Like, why would you need a legacy network so they can freaking tell you what to do and what's said?
So, with a lot of your clients, are you guys setting up that kind of infrastructure to create that, or
one of them we did strategy? Well, one we did was like so they do a show.
Mm-hmm.
We do all the short form content. And then we're also getting into the digital sales too. So more representation and all that stuff too, and doing deals, speaking gigs.
Whoa, okay. So, out of curiosity, how do you, if you don't mind me asking, what's your client process? How do you vet them? How do you analyze them? Like, how take us through that process when you kind of onboard a client and give them strategy?
So this is the biggest thing with people, especially when they get into business, is that you got to go with you got to try to find deals take a while. So you might as well go for big deals instead of small ones because they take just as much time. So when I'm seeing someone, I'm vetting someone who work with GasPak, like I got to see the infrastructure, the views, like where they come from, like do they have the cash to do things? Like it's
you guys do that before you seek out the client, or is it kind of during the process?
It's during the process. People have reached out. We've denied people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we denied a bunch of people too, but we've also went out and they didn't want to do anything. But it's been both ways. But we denied people. But you gotta audit. I mean, you don't want to work with anyone just because it's so like people hit us up all the time about podcast and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
Starting a podcast and actually making money from it just really hard.
Yeah, and it's very saturated too as well. So.
Yeah, like you gotta monetize. You gotta make. I think this one lady called me up. That's what we're going. She's just like, Armett, I want to start a podcast, and I was just like, terrible at it. Yeah. Like because she was already killing it in our space and stuff. And she was doing. I was like, don't do it. Like she was the one to do once a week and fly down to Southern California. She lives in Sacramento. And no, they don't do it.
Yeah,
because it's just like if they're not consistent, you're not pushing out content every day. And not being savage with it, you're not going to have too much.
And that first strategy, the way I like to define strategy is doing the least amount of input for the greatest output.
Exactly.
And that's a lot of input she's putting in for just a little amount of output.
Yeah, I got to make a living. I mean, dude, like first you got to grow the following. Then you got to monetize the following. That's freaking a 10-year process. Like our clients have been on the air and all that stuff in media for 15, 20 years. Yeah. So... tough.
How do you transition them from being, on the network type of media to now going to kind of almost a social route, right? You usually transition them over to there.
Yeah.
How does that process look, or what kind of platforms do you look to focus on as strategy?
So basically, when you're looking at a talent, they usually have all the infrastructure as far as like the following, which is hard to get. So they have the people, they just know how to put together, like we've gotten clients where they've had like 700,000 followers on Twitter. They got a million, they get 4.1 million downloads on podcast a month. Whoa, yeah. Serious stuff. So they don't really know how to strategize that and put it into an actual, make it work. Like push it.
Okay, yeah.
Monetize it, make sure everything's good. And it's like a system. Like they built the thing. They have all the, the stuff, the hard part. They just have to figure out how to put it into a system so it pumps out.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah. And so Dang, that's amazing that you guys have that niche, because like GasPak Media is like, I see it on the decline, and it really makes sense what you guys are doing. So how long are your guys' engagements usually typically?
What do you mean, dude?
They turn like 3 months, 6 months? Is it like a year you're dealing with these people, 5, 10 years? I mean,
So far we lost one client. And that's when there was some Trish about a year. Next 10 years I haven't. I don't know because we haven't lost any.
oh, so it's an ongoing relationship.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. It's not like I just get. It'll be way too hard to just like expensive to like try to keep new clients all the time. We do 80-20, man. We focus 80% on the client, 20% on looking for new business.
And so what kind of some of the key metrics you see to show them your growth? Like what kind of metrics? Because they already have like that big foundation with the following. So it's not like you can really show growth. Where do you guys kind of show your clients growth?
Yeah, so this is the thing, and this is why we transition to this, because when we first started off, we were doing social content for like business and stuff. It's a terrible business. I would tell people never get into it. The reason for that is because you're not correlated with sales, and you're not correlated. What you do on social doesn't directly tie with the business growth as far as revenue. And in the business, say like you're built around, we're running your social media, right? Yeah, it's growing, you grow, but like are you seeing more sales? So now you're like, why am I paying these people?
Right.
And that's the big thing about But when you're with us now, when it's just with the personalities, we're directly correlated with their success. So the more times we pump out content, the more sales, digital sales we get, the more advertising we get, that's more money, that's more views, because that's what podcasting currently is.
Right.
Views. So the more we're getting it, so you can see trends like, we have one client, they're getting like freaking 50,000 views, and now they're getting like 3.1 million a month.
So that, those views are turning.
They're turning money. Because like when you're serious, you have to find serious clients that's why it's good to go after big people, because they're serious about their shows. So they will pay, and they will want to see growth, and they will want to do it. And if they see views and all that stuff, they just keep doing it, because that's what essentially what the podcast. That's the show business.
That's the show business.
Yeah, but like with businesses and social content and social media, like if you're just a business, a retailer or e-commerce, it doesn't necessarily correlate.
Okay, no, that totally makes sense. And so, the last question about business will transition to some fun stuff. Is how are you implementing AI in your business, or where do you see AI playing in your industry?
So we built this tool, and basically it cuts clips automatically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we facial expressions and all that stuff, because it is a lot of work getting the clips out, editing them, putting them on all socials, Facebook. For some clients, they post 30 times a day.
Dang,
Crazy.
for one person.
For one, 30 times a day.
That's what their personal feed, or
personal, like Facebook, Instagram, like Twitter, Rumble.
Crazy. What's Rumble?
Rumble is a free, it's alternative to YouTube. Like UFC on there, no boys on there.
Dang, okay.
Yeah, you got certain everything on Rumble. Yeah, it's least woke, right?
Okay.
Yeah, least woke.
Yeah, and you're finding that too. Yeah, these media, social media platforms are really transitioning to the new and improved news network. And you guys are capitalizing on that. You're like the Rich Paul of like the news network, hopefully.
I love Rich Paul. Rich Paul's a beast.
He is a beast, man. I think I've seen he had like his clients generated $325 million in new extension contracts in the last 3 weeks.
So savage.
Yeah, so savage. And I've watched his interviews, and he's super interesting. How kind of similar how you take on clients is like when he takes on a new potential player, he goes to their locker first and sees how they organize their life, because he doesn't want to bring those dirty habits into his life.
I never said that's why.
You got to really watch his interviews, man. He's a really smart businessman and individual. I wanted to transition. I think you're a dope person. You got talk about the Cadillac and talk about your horses, man. What'd you get into that?
Oh man, okay. So
or tell people what you'd like.
I ride horses, guys. I ride horses. So, dude, my dad always had them since I was 5. But then it's from the COVID. I was like, I never got into it. I was like, no, I'm never gonna ride horses.
Yeah.
So, during COVID, bro, I was freaking bored. Like, quite bored.
Bored, yeah. What are you gonna do?
Bored. Oh my God. So I freaking my dad, we were just bored and wouldn't do anything. We go out there a late evening, and I go up there, bro, and he puts me on the horse. I ride it for the first time. In love.
Yeah.
And so I kid you not, after I did that, I freaking went and bought a horse. And he was so crazy about me buying this horse. We go out to Palm Springs. And this lady, she's so awesome. She's shout out to Double A and to Ranch.
Okay.
And she goes out and like she has thousands of horses out there. Thousands, dude. Like for sale, trading or whatever. I pull up. All of them. There was one horse that came up to me. One horse that came up to me. I bought him. Dealing with the other horses.
You're like connected.
Yeah, I connected. So that's all I was like. I was like, Shaq. Yeah, I bought Shaq. I was like, 1,000 horses out there. And came up to me. His hair was going on thing. I was like, I want that one. And I didn't look at any other horses.
What's it like taking care of like such a big animal like that? What do you gotta do? It's both. It is. That's some of the both obvious. What's kind of like your routine with them? Because I'm assuming you have a routine or you have someone that helps you with it too.
So my dad, it's my dad's ranch, so he does a lot of the work on that. But I'll come on like different days sometimes and feed them and everything. But right now they're gone.
Oh
yeah, everyone's gone for them, so I'm taking care of the ranch right now.
Dang. Yeah. What do you gotta do? Like, what's like take care of it? So you like take me through a day.
Oh yeah. So basically, what I do, man, is gotta clean up the poop.
Okay.
Gotta feed them their oats and pellets for breakfast, and then you got to do give them the hay, supplements.
So what's the difference between the oats and the hay? Is like the oats just like the protein and the hay is just like
oats puts like more carbs, so it puts more weight on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the hay do like
hay is like, well, they have to eat hay. That's how they eat. But there's all different types of hay. There's alfalfa hay. There's orchard. There's Bermuda hay. There's Timothy hay.
Yeah. So like
expensive.
Yeah. How like on the average day cost? How much are you spending on feeding this horse?
I mean, we're spending like it's not too crazy, but we like on hay we spend about $1,700 every month. No, or
4 months. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And then, but that doesn't include the pellets, which is like $260 a month, and then the supplements, which go up to like $150 a month. Then you have the shoes, the horse shoes.
Those break.
Yeah, they break. No, they just grow out.
They grow out.
Yeah, so they grow out because their hooves are growing. And then also T-floated because what a lot of people, horses are designed like terribly. So they're designed terribly. Like horses are literally the worst designed like animals. Really? So basically, what happens is they go out and they're in the wild. Their teeth grow so much into fangs where they can't even eat anymore because it hurts, so they starve to death.
Whoa.
That's why I like when PETA and all those people like are like talking about the horse owners are bad and all that stuff. BS.
Yeah.
BS. Because like they died though. They don't even live long a while, like maybe 6 years. Like what they with us? 30.
Whoa.
So they don't want to talk.
It's like a dog. Like a dog would die in the
way. Dude, their hooves grow so much they can't even walk. Yeah, they get kicked out. They get kicked by other horses and like bleed and like it's the part they're designed poorly, but they're great.
So how do you get like this? Someone like come and deliver the alfalfa for you guys? You pay company and they come deliver all that stuff.
Drop a stack. That's the hardest part. Freaking putting that hay into the freaking barn.
So they just like so they come over here. They got a truck and somebody like lifts up and drops the hay.
Yeah,
and then you got to transport the hay back to the barn.
Yes, and in our house is like the way it is. It's like it's tough. Like other houses on our block are designed way better. Not only the horse is designed bad, but our house is designed bad. Yeah, you gotta put it through all these skinny things. Like the other like horse properties next to us, our neighbors, they have so much easier ways to get it to their barn and everything.
I love that. So what is being like living on a ranch or like, owning a horse taught you? Like
a lot of patience, responsibility. Yeah, and like you just feel like the horse is just different. And you just feel like their energy, like they know if you're like have anxiety. That's why I tell people all the time, dude. When you get on a horse, they know everything, like how you're feeling. So like if you act anxiety, they're gonna have anxiety.
Dang, yeah, that's crazy. No, I've heard that before. Horses have a lot of intuition. I feel like as a business owner, you're always like focused on your business, but you need those hobbies that teach you life lessons, whether it's UFC or weightlifting. Like everybody has their own hobbies.
Do you lift? Do you have hobbies?
And hobbies, I mean, like, I lift, I work out.
Okay.
Honestly, milk room. I'm not saying milk room's not a business, but it's really a hobby. I love the clothes. Like, I mean, like, I promise you, I used to be like a really fanatic for clothes, and I was like, I gotta turn this like expensive habit in business. You know, so and then I really love to read. I'm like a big reader.
Big reader, huh? What's your favorite book?
Well, I don't have a favorite book. Honestly, it changes often. I think what it really comes down to is what I'm currently reading. So I'm reading this book right now called, there's 2 books I'm reading. It's called, 3 I'm actually reading now. So there's Ninja Selling. I mean, Selling's a great book. It's just sales. It's sales. All sales books are pretty much the same. Yeah. I see, but I'm really focusing a lot more on closing.
Oh, yeah.
There's another book I'm reading. I forgot the title of it. It's running my mind, but it's one of, I'm actually going to show it to you after we're done with this podcast, because it's teaching you 21st century sales, and it was written post-pandemic.
Really?
So 2021. And it talks about the moment of singularity. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically the point where AI takes over humans on the food chain of the animal kingdom level.
Oh.
And so they talk about this in-between moment of singularity that's going to occur, but in sales. So how is that going to change sales? And so what tools of using emailing systems, creating these chains, using your CRM, and then the point of what's AI going to turn into sales? So for example, they're saying you're going to be building your own databases in your own AI, but one of the tools they're saying is your AI is going to be able to scan all of your social profiles. That'll create your social profile and what type of person you are. So when you make that sales call, you know how to approach the person.
Wow.
So are they a timid person? What did they just do last weekend? What they do last weekend? And it's supposed to, instead of you having your notes or doing the due diligence, so Sammy just went to this conference last week, boop, 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 and they're
They logged in the night.
and you already just sent them an email yesterday morning regarding,
it went scary.
and you're going to give them a call right now and get you all these calls. And this is what this book talks about.
That's freaking scary.
It's scary.
Don't you guys a little disingenuous? You know what I mean? I know you don't have to do that. You able to do the work.
It's super disingenuous, but it's it basically said that in 10 years that your organization's only going to be 5 people. You're multi-million-dollar company. You're not going to need a sales team of 20 doing all this work, because you're going to have it all done. So that's another book I'm reading.
Well, yeah, I gotta read.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that. And then buy back your time.
Really? What's that about?
So as an entrepreneur, your business is supposed to work for you, and it teaches you a way to put a dollar value on your time. And so first it goes through this audit of you measuring each hour of your day, and you put how much money that cost you as a business owner, and then you start analyzing, okay, this cost me this much time and money, how can I replace that time, and how much is that going to cost me somebody else? And it's helped me leverage a lot of here, and it's important as you growing your business, because and it also teaches you what can't you replace that you are doing. What is you have to do, and when you find that, you need to spend more time on that, because it's going to create greater output.
I was just talking to a girl on my team about this, and she was like, she does volunteer stuff, and some girl had a bunch of baby stuff that they were donating, and the girl couldn't come to drop it off to her, so she was going to drive all the way an hour just to pick up $50 worth of baby clothes. And I was like, why don't you just, is your time now worth more than $50 an hour? Yeah, I mean, so just buy the baby clothes.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what, I never thought of it like that. And I was like,
right? And a lot of shout out Sean of Active in LA, but he always told me that a lot of people, the number one reason why they buy something is for convenience and time, because he saves you from focusing on whatever else you're doing in life. You want to spend more time with your kids or baby, whatever. You don't have to focus on time.
I tell people, if you want to make a bunch of money, save rich people time.
Yeah. That is a reality.
If a dude who's making $5 million is not going to care about making a couple extra $100,000. But if he can save 3 hours,
a lot.
He's going to pay a lot of money for it.
Anytime.
3 hours a day, he's going to pay a lot of money for it. So he or she's going to pay a lot of money for it. He or she is going to pay a lot of money for it.
What do you think is the most important topic in our country right now? I know there's a lot going on. What do you think? And I know you're very political, and I personally think that we're the Roman Empire right and we need some saving. What do you think is the most important thing as a country we could do to focus on? If you were president, what would you have us focus on? You can give me three. If one is too hard, you can give me three. You can give me three.
Okay. The focusing. You know,
It's tough.
there's a lot. And I think one of the scariest things about our generation is just how like divided we are as far as like there's just so much like victim in our culture. Like the culture, we thrive more now on like people like being a victim and like it's like almost like it's like vulnerable narcissism. And it is
That's a term.
yeah, and and like you just can't explain why. It's just like people don't work anymore.
No, they don't.
People hate the work. We have a bunch of people that are just like digital nomads. They don't want to be a part of a team. They just want to go. It's just like this me culture, and that's we just there's just narcissists just all in it. Like if you notice that everyone's Instagram's post. Notice everyone's Instagram post. What they post on there. This is my year. These are. I'm starting to love myself. Me. I'm putting my boundaries. My. When is it ever gonna be about serving other people?
Dang, so as a country, we need to come together is where you're coming down.
Yeah, it's just too many. I think we're in the most selfish, not necessarily, it's a little greed, but it's more like we're just the most selfish, all about me country effort.
So almost you're taking the Kennedy standpoint, the big fat famous Kennedy quote.
Yeah. If you read like some of the past like big conquerors of business people, like I love John Rockefeller. Great business guy. If you look at his quotes, he said I had no ambitions to build a fortune. I just want to make my country great.
Dang.
I just want to build. I want to make it good. But now people, it's just like me. I want my life, my manifestations. Crazy. Like, that's why everyone's all, yeah. It's like, that's why all these people are so depressed, because they only focus on themselves.
Yeah.
That's why that's all these people on like, how the hell do you have that much anxiety?
Yeah, anxiety is like a trip, bro. And I'm sorry, like, I tell people deal with it. I know everybody deals with being anxious, but
Yeah.
I think almost like this self-diagnosing of it is just...
Oh, man, anxiety is like, I don't even, my dad just has a great quote. He says things like, man, life was too hard for me to have like word about anxiety.
Yeah. Or like, how people even hear people say, oh, my dog has anxiety. I'm like, your dog just focuses on you feeding him all day. Like, you know?
People have anxiety. Once again, people have anxiety. People have depression because they're too focused on themselves.
Yeah. And our whole country is. And I think if we take the approach of how do we serve our country?
Exactly.
How do we add to the GDP? How do we create jobs?
How do I make this person's life better?
As opposed to how can they make it easier for me?
It totally is it's the worst thing. That's my personal point.
Okay, what's the second? I said three. What's the second?
Second, dude. Oh my God, the second one. I mean,
maybe on a technical aspect.
Not a technical. On economy or like?
Yeah, economy. Let's go with economy.
Oh, wait, economy. Okay, well, dude, China's like it's tough because once it falls back into like, well, no one wants to work, so it means no one's making things, so that means less jobs. So what's going to happen is as if things decline, there's a little piece of the pie, and everyone's going to fight over the pie. That's when violence, like poverty breeds violence, because it's not because like rich people are more moral or like more high class people are more moral. It's because they don't have to fight over anything. Right. Yeah, so like that's why like a bunch of like a billionaire people, they're not fighting over anything. Like they have so much. But the reason like poverty, like violence happens in poverty, because they're all fighting over just one tiny little piece. So if you don't grow the pie, which entrepreneurship you do, you know, stuff, building this, jobs, all this stuff, people are gonna fight. They're not gonna take everything.
What do you think are some things that we should create in our country? What kind of businesses do you think our young generation should get into, or what can they get into? Yeah, or build that we kind of may need.
I think manufacturing needs to come back.
Okay.
And I think we need more high type of people in media. I think media is probably the most it's the most powerful tool.
Yeah.
It changes minds. Like you can do anything in media. Like it drives people's actions.
So more high quality vetted media.
Like just integrity. Like before people, all the mass media, when ESPN, Disney, CNN, Fox, they're like three people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really bad.
Yeah, but a lot of journalists our age. Now that I'm starting to think about
No journalists. People are just like, and the journalists we do have are like the journalists do. They're like they don't search for the truth. They're just all basically putting their opinions out, like what they believe, instead of actually just this is what happened and this is the truth and
these are facts.
These are facts. We don't have any.
Yeah, and there's like there's no really new age media, like new media company out. Like
There's all other stuff now, right?
Yeah. That's a trip. That's a real trip. Dang. So media, manufacturing, and I was just
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the writer strike's a trip.
You know what's so crazy, man? This is entrepreneurship in a nutshell. We closed the biggest Netflix deal. $500,000. $500,000. Soon as that happens, writer strike. God, they cope.
And you know, this crazy thing, I had a deal like that. Me and TJ were going to close like a $1.3 million infrastructure deal with the city of, not the city of Ford, but Florida South Bay. We were trying to close. About to close it, 2 weeks. Tesla announced a launch with Ford that they can use all their superchargers.
Oh my God.
It's
no. That's on me. Hurting. Oh, that's the word.
I was hurting, but you know, some things are out of your control. And overall, the experience of just learning how a dealership works and how they're almost like franchises was all interesting in itself. And it was like the biggest electrical infrastructure job I've ever dealt with. I was learning so much about transformers and stuff like that. But that's entrepreneur in the subzone. You never know what you're gonna get hit with. Never know.
Never.
That deal's not signed until the money's here.
I was actually one of the guys I know who like gives me a lot of advice. He said that it was a signed contract. I was like, well, they said they're gonna do it. And like, was it ink?
I was here, bro. It isn't in the.
Yeah, it's not wire. The money's not a wire, dude. It's not that. That's true. Yeah. That's 100%.
And I realized with these like real estate agents, that like,
yeah, that's funny.
No, that's awesome. Well, before we get off, is there anything you'd like to say or shout out or push or what?
No, nothing. I think when you're looking at entrepreneurship and all that stuff in business, I think you need to work hard, have high integrity, and freaking just don't be entitled to pay where you gotta work.
Yeah,
you gotta. I think that's the biggest problem right there. They just know when else to work in. And what another thing, and I think this is going to be a scary thing for a generation back on the economy type thing, is like no one's working and they're doing this digital nomad stuff. And what our generation, nobody in our generation owns assets. Yeah, no businesses, no real estate, nothing. So then when they get 40 and 50 years old, dude, what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah, and like a lot of people also, they're like,
they're not saving any money.
They're not saving any money. No. They're not.
It's a wild life.
It is a wild life, and it's like this digital nomad stuff. It's cool in theory, but yeah, like when are you gonna like take a reality check and build something? You know,
exactly. Be a part of something big instead of just doing remote work and taking like some regular salary, and now you're just.
And I think that's part of building a business too, is like creating those assets and then owning those assets.
Exactly.
And now you have real tangible things that actually have value as opposed to like just cash.
And if it compounds over time, and like you need time to compound. Like you guys open up this, you guys open up another place, you guys open up, so in 10 years from now, it looks like you guys are an overnight success, but realistically, you just
Yeah, you know, and again, like I know someone that runs a business and they own like 30 vehicles.
Jeez.
And it's like, and it's like those are assets, and they're Dodge Chargers, and like they're gonna go up in value. But it's like that business has real assets, like on the balance sheet.
Exactly.
You know, and I think it's scary a lot with the digital business too. One reason I'm always afraid of it's like. Yeah, even though that you're having like millions, like you have, Instagram. What if Instagram decides to ban your account?
Sounds just like you sound just like my dad. He's like, all this internet stuff, and all this internet stuff, and it just freaking go away, and you'll have nothing. See,
And it really reminded me when COVID hit, like they're like, close your doors, and it's like, dang, like it was that easy to do that. Like imagine if like Facebook crashed one day, like so many, like the government would have to bail out Facebook because so many people would lose income stream.
Oh yeah. And you know what's so funny is that we already go through that with people getting kicked off for like Facebook and.
Or you get hacked.
But yeah.
And I think a lot of our generation needs to take care of like older people and like their families. Like they don't.
Dude, this goes back into the narcissism.
Yeah, it's a trip. Like I don't know if you've seen like that kid's who was the stepson of the kid in the Titanic situation. He was like on Twitter.
Oh, I know. Oh, dude, the dad is freaking imploded in the submarine. Like you're going to a Blink 182 concert? Bro, I'd be on my freaking hands and knees praying to God.
And it's like the me syndrome.
That's what I'm just doing for me to cope.
Right.
See, you heard this first on the Milk Tea podcast in 10 years. Narcissism in our generation is going to be the death of it.
Dang. That's a trip. That's a trip.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I appreciate you coming by.
Hey, this is cool.
Where can everybody find you at?
Find me at Armett Johnson on Instagram. Look, GasPak Media, we're always posting at the office, doing funny stuff, hanging out, doing our thing. Just working hard, building, and young, 27, so we're just trying to do it.
I love it. So it's going to be 40 under 40 or 30 under 30. And that concludes another podcast episode.
Let's go.
That was such a good 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Man, I'm not so many clips.
that
I'll we transfer the file to you.
Oh, yeah.